The Jomon period, the Japanese Stone Age. Fashion trend, nudity. Animal skins, woven plant fibers. No one knows with any certainty. Around 7,000 years ago, evidence of cloth woven from hemp plants were found in pottery of that period. No real form of clothing has been recovered from the Jomon or Yayoi periods. Loom parts and spindles were found in northern Kyushu, probably originating from China via Korea. Another trend was tooth extractions, practiced from the Jomon to the early Kofun periods. This pulling of healthy front teeth was meant to identify certain ages reached, kinship, how many marriages, status, and if you were an original member of the tribe, depending on the pattern of the tooth pulling. Not much is known about the specific clothing, except that both men and women wore two separate pieces of clothing for tops and bottoms, with a wide sash made of woven fibers or leather. The Asuka and Nara periods were heavily influenced by the Chinese, with the shift to clan rules. The imperial court was formed and rules were put into place. The Heian period is considered the classical period and the peak of courtly culture. Enter the kimono, or thing to wear. The ladies of the elite wore the junihito, the 12-layer kimono. Weighing upwards of 40 pounds, each layer was made of very thin silk in bright colors that reflected the season's political or family ties. There were cases where ladies wore up to 20 layers, and was reported that most ladies needed assistance to stand and walk. By the end of the era, the number of layers was reduced to 5. The light underlayers became what is now known as a traditional kimono. Another huge trend was teeth blackening. A mixture of charcoal, wax, and vinegar was put on the teeth of every noble, samurai, and provincial warrior. Glossy black teeth meant power and wealth, while also helping to prevent cavities. The Kamakura shogunate was now in charge near the modern Edo, Tokyo. Kimonos had long, elegant lines with complex designs. At this time, the kimono became everyday wear. Layering became a trend with different color combinations. Men's clothing became simpler, and although women's clothing became lighter weight, they became even more colorful and brighter. The Edo period found the art of kimono making grew into a specialized craft. They were works of art that could cost more than a family home. The Edo feudal government tried to implement frugality, but the kimono sash or obi became more ornate, and women began tying them in the back. Each knot or bow had a meaning: married, coming of age, single, etc. The commoners were forbidden to wear any silk after the famine of 1783 occurred, lasting 5 years. At that time, the common people made clothing out of cotton or hemp. This is what we think of when we say traditional Japanese clothing, with today's basic pieces of the kimono the same as then. The rise of Taisho fashion sees a return in traditional Japanese aesthetic without rejecting Western wear. Japanese modernized and prospered during this era. The 1920 major earthquake brought about a Western makeover in much of Tokyo, making Western attire more practical. Female students went from kimono uniforms to skirts and blouses, except for special occasions. The Taisho Showa era was considered the Warring Twenties, giving birth to the modern girls, or mogas, the Japanese version of the American flappers. Both hemlines and hairstyles got shorter. The girls were condemned for their modern ways of working for a living in the city while being financially and emotionally independent, choosing their own bows, smoking, and drinking. Movies were very popular at this time. After the 1931's military coup, extreme Japanese nationalism and the Great Depression put an end to the symbol of extravagance and forced a return to the ideal Japanese good wife.